I gotta do an update video on this iPhone 16 Pro. It is so bad, I'm about to be on my third iPhone 16 Pro, and I'm about to go to the Apple Store to go pick it up because I keep having a lot of issues. So let me tell you everything that's gone wrong with the iPhone 16 Pro over the last few months, because I mentioned a couple things in my 3-month review, but my goodness, it has gotten worse to the point that this is probably the worst iPhone I've ever had. So we are now in the car on the way to the Apple Store. Let me get this new iPhone, and then I'm gonna talk to you about everything that's gone wrong and what Apple has said that the issue is. Okay, so before I give you the verdict of what actually happened and what happened after the Apple Store visit, let me tell you what's been going on with this iPhone, because I actually have only alluded to it, but I haven't said exactly what the issues are. So first off, I just don't get phone calls sometimes. So not only does the phone call just not go to voicemail or something, if someone calls me, it's like that call never happened. You could call 1, 2, 3 times. I will never see it in the recents on the phone app. It won't be in the voicemail, nothing. So it's like that call never happened. So that obviously is an issue because it is a phone. So off the bat, that's a problem. And that actually kept happening. So I've been having issues just with the antennas, with cell service, something, because even when talking with Apple support for a few hours and resetting network settings and all that, it still was having the same issues. So that was very odd. Now, in general, I briefly spoke about this during my review, but the performance was kind of an issue. So this might be connected to what's going on, but essentially, if I'm taking a FaceTime call, even when I'm using the viewfinder on the camera app sometimes, it just struggles really hard. It will drop so many frames, it'll look like a stop motion video. And so that already is an issue, but what makes it worse is that a lot of times if I take the photo or video, it won't even save it. So it's like you spend time getting the perfect shot even with the choppiness, and that thing is just gone forever. It never saved. And so that's really annoying on top of everything else that's been going on. So these were the 2 largest issues, which obviously are pretty fundamental to how I use my phone. One is mostly for communication, and then secondly is for the camera. I film all my videos on here. I need it to work really well. I like taking a lot of photos, and so that is just unacceptable. Now, what's been really frustrating is just the amount of time I've had to spend talking to them, but I'm gonna get into that a little bit later when I tell you what happened after the Apple Store. But essentially, these 2 issues were deal breakers for me. And I already had Apple Care on this device, and so I thought, okay, no brainer, they should just fix it immediately. But that is not what happened. Now, in terms of any other issues, of course, we know that with Apple Intelligence, the phones do get pretty hot. They run through the battery pretty quickly. So that one I was kind of expecting, but it seemed like it was a little bit worse than it should have been. It seems like the phone just wasn't performing very well. It was also mismanaging storage really poorly. It was going up and down in the amount of storage it was using for the Photos app, for the Messages app. It was just really odd. It would be full of storage in one moment, then I check 2 hours later and it's gone down by like 50 gigs and then it goes back up. It was really weird. Usually you'll see this if the phone is restoring. After you've got a new phone, you're restoring from a backup, and maybe it will be high and then it'll kind of come down as it figures it out, where to put things and what to keep in the cloud and such. But this was just really weird in the way that it was doing it. And even when I was on the phone with Apple support, you can now screen share with Apple support so they can see what's going on with your device. And even the support specialist was having trouble with that. And so just a lot of things together made it seem like, okay, maybe I got a lemon. But in any case, that is kind of what's been going on with the device. Let's see what happened after the Apple Store. All right, so
this is actually the next day, but we're in the parking lot where the Apple Store is. So I went into the Apple Store and I waited like an hour and a half before I spoke to someone who then proceeded to tell me that actually they technically agree with me, but they can't replace the phone because Apple's put in a bunch of systems this year because the iPhone 16 is a lot more green and repairable. So they don't allow them to just do a replacement, which he and the manager said we would totally do in any other circumstance if it wasn't this year. And so essentially what they told me is that I have to go home after now. This is after 2 hours. That's why I'm filming this the next day, because I then went home and spent like another hour and a half on the phone with Apple support. They, of course, had all the notes, thank goodness, from the previous interactions, but I also had to retell the story of everything that's gone on. They changed the logic board, all this stuff. And yeah, eventually they were able to get me a replacement, but only because I had Apple Care that they're able to do the express replacement. Now, if I didn't have Apple Care, I'm not too sure what exactly they would do. I mean, I assume it would still be a free replacement. Maybe it wouldn't be express. I'm not too sure. But, I mean, either way, this is covered under the normal warranty for the phone. So, therefore, I will be receiving a new iPhone 16 Pro after probably in total between... It's probably like 8-9 hours total at the Apple Store and on the phone with Apple and the chats. So yeah, kind of a headache, even if you have Apple Care. But luckily we'll get a new one. I'll send back this one. They put a hold on the card for the price of the phone, which is always not fun, but you know, it's fine because they just remove that pending charge once you send it. But it seems like this was quite a headache. And let me tell you, well, my arm is getting a little tired because this iPhone is not as light as you think. But yeah, it's just been kind of an annoying process, which you would think would be a lot easier considering, you know, you spend so much on a phone. It's also Apple, and I had Apple Care. It should have been a one and done kind of easy fix, especially considering that the iPhone still had problems after replacing the whole logic board, which, to give some perspective, it's essentially like replacing everything inside the phone and then just slapping on the old glass on each side. So if you took an Oreo, took all the white stuff out and put new white stuff in, and then put the Oreo back together, that's kind of what it's like. And so I'm really surprised that it was still having issues after that. I'm curious why. Let me know down below if you have any idea why that is. But yeah, going back to my old review, that definitely makes me think back to the issues I spoke about in that video, if perhaps maybe that's why I had those issues, and maybe others are not having those issues, and maybe that kind of tainted my idea of this new iPhone. But I think that's all part of it, you know. If for some reason the quality control is not as good as it used to be on these iPhones, then that's kind of part of the review, right? And so, you know, just because my phone was a lemon doesn't mean that the experience I had was not also valid. Your feelings are valid. But yeah, so I just want to make this quick video as a kind of recap of the issues I've been having, and I'm really curious if it's just me or if others are also having these issues, because I've heard from other folks who've gotten the iPhone 16 Pros. I don't know anyone who has a regular iPhone 16, but for those who have Pros or Pro Maxes, I've heard they've also kind of had some like random issues as well as with the calling. So I'm curious if this is a bigger issue, if this is going to turn into like a new gate, or if this is kind of just affecting a few phones, and they just need to send out replacements, maybe early phones. Mine was kind of an early-ish phone. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. It's a beautiful day here in Florida. We'll hopefully be going back to New York soon, but I kind of like the weather here right now. It was really cold in New York, so maybe I'll stay here a little longer. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe only if you like the videos, and let me know down below what you'd like to see. As those returning viewers know, I make a lot of content about you know, airplanes, the overall flight experience, airlines, but also a lot of consumer tech, some travel, some kind of like home tech. So if you like seeing that kind of stuff, I'm trying to figure out, you know, what exactly my audience likes. And so I'd love to know so I can do more of what you enjoy, because I also enjoy it. I'm not going to make videos about things I don't really enjoy. As you can see in my channel, it's very random sometimes. You got some vlogs, you got some rants like this, you got some consumer tech, you got some reviews, you've got some travel. So that's a bit of what I do, you know? It's more of like the best, the newest, and all around the world. I like that. That's good. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.